Oftentimes, as children and young adults, we are not taught how to have healthy relationships, how to problem solve, how to communicate effectively, or how to deny selfishness and show greater compassion and empathy. So, when it comes to being adults, we often display the same learned behaviors and thinking patterns. So today I want to address accountability in communication. How can we settle differences and create healthy solutions that present a way to avoid hurtful confrontations? For this exercise, I am using a process called mapping, where you circle the central focus and then attach the thinking or behaviors that give or don't give the central focus legs. As you can see, this is what I have done. Accountability in communication. Oftentimes when we have a situation where there's a disagreement, we over focus on our emotions and allow our emotions, which are usually over exaggerated, to become the problem instead of focusing on how to come up with a healthy solution for whatever issue it is that caused the friction. So when you have two individuals who are at odds, there are some things that you have to remember. There are things that you have to include, and there are things that you have to exclude. So with the accountability and communication, one of the things that you have to do is remember the goal of the relationship. Oftentimes we take away from the value of the relationship by not remembering the reason the relationship even exists. When you're dealing with the accountability and communication, you have to include real forgiveness. Oftentimes you hear people say, yeah, I forgive you, but I don't forget. You have to be able to take the sting and the bitterness out of the offense and be able to forgive. Forgiving is not a weakness. Just because you forgive somebody, it doesn't make you weak. Forgiveness is not for the other person whom you may feel or think has caused an offense. Forgiveness is to keep you from having that blockage in your spirit, in your emotions, and in your mind. One of the things that constantly keep us entangled into a feud is because we place blame instead of us taking accountability in our part in whatever the problem may be. So we want to avoid placing blame. We want to be honest about better choices that we could have made with our responses. Over exaggerated emotions lead to over exaggerated responses. Another thing that we have to include is to allow God to come in, allow our godliness to rule. So if you're being unloving, you're being ungodly. So the thing that you want to happen inside of this accountability in the communication is for you to allow that God in you to be present. And in order for you to do that effectively, you have to suspend pride, image, and ego. These are energies that create major hurdles in communication and in relationships. Another thing you must be set on not doing is using toxic words, name calling, words that carry bitterness and hatred. You have to remove that inside of the communication. You can't do anything that's forced or fake. You can never settle a beef or resolve a problem if you feel it's forced. or if you feel you're being fake. So you have to come to it with a sincerity and a willingness. You have to take ownership of your thoughts and feelings, because you're responsible for your thoughts and feelings. Nobody can make you feel any kind of way. You have to be willing to sign on and subscribe to that. So you relinquish your power when you're doing that. So take ownership of your thoughts and feelings. Then when in communication, a lot of times people are pointing the finger and placing the blame. That further complicates getting to the solution, and it makes you linger and over focus on the problem. So in accountability, in communication, you have to keep everything on the I statement. I know that I was wrong. I know that I shouldn't have said. I know that I've done. Everything has to be kept on the I statement. You have to focus on your part. And once you take accountability for your part and you resolve that within yourself, then and only then can you resolve it with the other person. And once you do that, you have to be consistent with your resolution. You have to be consistent with your resolution. You can't say that you agree and that it's settled and that you understand or that you respect what the solution is, and you're not going to stick by it from that point, that moment forward. And this is accountability and communication.